Hi guys, Victoria here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a little February reset, which I should have done at the beginning of the month, but when I got back from my trip to Malaysia at the end of January, or actually it was on the 1st of February when I arrived. After that, of course, I had to get back to work. I needed a few days to, adjust, to get back into my routine, and then I got sick. So yeah, I was sick for 5-6 days actually. 4 days quite bad, like I was staying in bed and drinking a lot of fluids and just not being able to focus on anything. So I was just like laying in bed and taking a lot of naps and watching YouTube videos or Netflix and being on social media a lot, but I really couldn't do anything else. So I was able to read sometimes, not always. So yeah, that was quite bad, and now I'm recovered, but you can still probably hear on my voice that it's not 100%. So it's mid-February, but we are still doing this reset, and this is a new type of video that I'm doing on my channel, and it's gonna be hopefully something that I do every month, where I just go through my annual goals and see how I'm doing, go through my finances and see if I am within my budget, and just talk about the things that I got, the new things that moved in with me, and then some things that I might have decluttered or finished the product. Maybe talk about the books that I read in the months. This will evolve, I believe, throughout the months, what I'm going to talk about. Also, I'm interested in listening to your feedback about what you would be interested in. Based on today's video, you can tell me what you want more of, what you want less of, what else you would like to hear about. So I'm gonna start this reset basically with going through what happened in January, and this is gonna be just like closing January off and getting ready for the new months, although we are already well within this month, but this month is starting later for me than usual because I was just out of commission for so long. So the first thing that I wanted to do is just to go through my 2023 goals and see in the month of January how was I doing with those goals. So the first goal category that I set for myself in 2023 was health and wellness goals. So the first goal within this category was to go swimming once a month. In January, I started out very well with this goal because I went in the first 2 weeks of January. Both weeks I went once, so a total of 2 times in January. Of course, afterwards I went traveling, and yeah, while I was swimming in the ocean, so you can also calculate that. But yeah, I went swimming twice in January. I didn't get a My Club subscription, and I wanted to get it in February, but now it's already the 10th of February, and now I'm going home to Hungary, so I will be back by the 15th. So I'm gonna have to, yeah. I didn't get a My Club subscription in January, probably won't get it in February. This is gonna be pushed to March. Read every day before sleeping. So this is a goal that I was trying to really religiously follow, and I actually read 26 days out of the 31 days of January. So I would check this box just because, reading really physically every day might be a bit challenging, just because you do some other things. Maybe you go out one evening and then your whole nighttime routine is a bit different, but then you also don't want to say like, I'm sorry guys, I have to leave because I have to read at home right when you're out and socializing. So yeah, I think 26 days out of 31 is pretty good. I wanted to start tracking my habits, my alcohol consumption, reading, exercise, and headaches, and I did that. So I have my habit tracker here. And yeah, the thing is, I don't really look at it every day, so I try to sometimes, like after a few days, catch up on it and remember like every day what was happening. So maybe I have to do that a little bit better. But basically, I was tracking my habits. I didn't drink any alcohol in January because I was doing dry January. However, I started on the 3rd of January because I still had some leftovers from New Year's Eve. that I wanted to finish because they were open and otherwise they would go bad. Yeah, so I started 2 days later, but it's the 10th of February and I still haven't drank alcohol ever since the 2nd of January. So I guess like I did more than 31 days of no alcohol. I would say I succeeded with dry January. I was tracking my reading, I was tracking my exercise, and I was tracking my headaches and the social media free days. And then related to this, move 5 days a week. Well, I started out very strongly with the exercise. Before I went on my holiday, I exercised until the 16th of January. I exercised every day except for one. So I either did yoga or I went swimming or I went skating or both in one day. So yeah, that was a very good, very strong start to the year. Of course, when I was traveling, then this kind of didn't go through anymore, this moving 5 days a week. I still did have 6 days of exercise during this time when I was traveling. Sometimes we were going hiking, sometimes we did an Adidas training exercise, and we also did some yoga. So yeah, 6 days out of 14, let's say, in that period. So yeah, moving 5 days a week didn't happen, but on average I think I did very, very well considering that I was traveling. And then 1 day a week without social media. So I started out very well. I did 2 social media free days before going to travel, and then 1 day while I was traveling, but I wanted to do every Sunday. And I think I might have to reconsider doing a social media free day on a weekday and then just stick to that day. But then sometimes it happened that it was Sunday and I was scrolling on my phone in the morning and I'm like, oh, I already screwed this one up. Oopsie. So yeah, I have to kind of remember better that I want to do a social media free day every week. So I didn't do that, but I did 3 days in January, so that's pretty good. And then my last health and wellness goal was therapy, at least once a month, which I should do more than that, but it's expensive. So I did therapy once in January, and yeah, I wanted to sign up for a February one already this week, but I was sick, so I couldn't really communicate, so that was difficult. And so yeah, the next session is gonna be in 2 weeks, but I'm gonna do it. Then my personal category is to read 20 plus books in the year. So, well, I'm definitely well on the way because I finished already 2 books. No, actually I finished 3 books, 1 audio book, which is Emily Henry's Book Lovers, which is now like a very trendy book to read, and it's a very fun romance book. I do recommend it if you like romance. I did enjoy it a lot. However, the book that I'm reading now, or I'm listening to on Audible, which is The Things We Leave Unfinished from Rebecca Jarros, which I have not heard about on like BookTube or BookTok. Well, I don't look at BookTok because I don't have TikTok, but yeah, I have not heard about this book from different social media platforms. I just found it on Audible as a recommendation, and I love it. I'm still listening to it, but it's great. Then I had 2 other books that I read physically, which was Ken Follett's book, Die Leopardin in German. Let me check the English title. Ken Follett, Jackdaws. It's from 2001. It's over 500 pages long. I read it in German. I really do like Ken Follett. He writes a lot of historical fiction, and this book was also staged in the Second World War about some English spies who are working in France against the Nazis. And it was about actually a group of women who were doing some actions against the Germans. So it was it was good. I did like it. Sometimes it's very slow and then suddenly it gets like too much. That's how Ken Follett books are, like, because it's almost 600 pages, it starts quite slow and you're like, okay, can we just get to the gist? And then suddenly at the end you're like, okay, what's happening, oh my god, and so much is happening, and you're like, oh my god, and this twist, and then again a twist, and then again a twist, and you're like, okay, come on, this is too much. So but yeah, I do like pamphlet books. And then I read a Hungarian book as well. So yeah, already 3 books down. That's pretty good. So I guess I will reach my 20 plus books for the year. And then of course, like the other 2 goals from my personal category, I have not really been working on in January. So let's skip to the next category, which is business and YouTube. So while my YouTube goal was to upload 2 videos a week, I already failed that, but I'm trying to get back on the bandwagon. I was doing well in the beginning of the month, and then I went traveling, and even during traveling I was editing and uploading, so it was going well. But then I got sick and I was like, okay, it's not possible. Plus, when I was traveling, one time I just finished editing a video the day before I was supposed to upload it, and then the next day we went to this resort where there was no proper Wi-Fi. I mean, there was Wi-Fi, but the internet was not very strong, obviously not strong enough to upload a YouTube video. So unfortunately I was like, okay, well, I have to skip this upload, and I have to upload at my next upload. So at that time I already kind of uploaded only 1 video that week, and then the next week I uploaded another one. Then I got sick, so I couldn't even upload 1 whole week. So yeah, it was just felt like everyone was against me or everything, but it was fine. It's fine, we are going back to that. And then, well, reaching 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, well, it's going slow. I have 174 subscribers at the moment, I do believe. I hope that I can reach 1,000. Subscribe. Then start an Instagram account for my channel. Yeah, haven't yet. Get these projects. Yeah, well, this is something that these are more long-term goals. So I'm working on that, and for now it's all good. Financial goals, well, invest 300 a month. I already failed that because last month I was supposed to research where am I gonna invest these other 200 euros that I'm supposed to invest per month, but I just didn't have time and motivation and capacity to do that. So yeah, none of these 2 goals have happened. Obviously I didn't save up for down payment in January, and yeah, so these goals are more like long-term ones, but I'm working on them. That's about my goals, and then let's move on to my finances. So let's just talk about my January budget. In January, well, January was a good budget month because I was traveling for 2 weeks. Like, most of my budget went on to traveling, and in all other categories we stayed within budget, I would say. So let's just quickly go through. So my rent, of course, I paid my rent. I didn't have to pay this month's house insurance, heating, or electricity. Those are like per month. I know how much they cost, but I don't pay them per month. I pay them either every second month or quarterly or annually, actually. Internet and mobile was a little bit higher than usual, but I paid it a little bit differently as well than I usually do, because usually I pay my internet and phone contract here in Austria, as well as my mom's internet and TV contract back home in Hungary. Usually these are the 2 that I pay, and they are usually below 70 euros together. But this month I didn't pay my mom's bill because I paid it already last month. But I paid my bill twice because I paid the December one and the January one both this month. Don't ask me why, because usually like this is getting subtracted from my account automatically, and I don't know why they didn't do it in December. And this kind of really screws also with my business expenses, because it is a business expense and now it was not discounted in December. So my expenses for my business are that much less for last year. So I don't know why they do that they just don't deduct it in that month, but okay. Next year I will have to pay attention to that and maybe just, transferred the money to them because they are not taking it. I spent 12 euros on subscriptions because in January I didn't pay mine for Netflix because I share my Netflix. Usually I pay it like quarterly to my friend. Then charity, this one is deducted in March. Annually, retirement savings, I spend this money towards the end of the month. Health insurance, I am paying quarterly, and then the bank costs as well, I'm paying quarterly. So in January, I didn't have to pay any of those. The variable costs, well, dining out, takeout, I only spent 65 euros on that because I was only here for 2 weeks in January, and then my expenses from my travels are going into the travel budget. Groceries, I only spent 74 euros and 61 cents, again, because I was here only for 2 weeks rather than a whole month. Gift category, from the budget of 20, I spent 20. Car category, which includes fuel, parking, as well as toll. So I bought my annual toll ticket, whatever you call it, for the highways to be able to use the highways in Austria. So that was like 96 euros. And I think I had to pay some fuel and parking as well. So that's why it's 111 or 112 euros. But this is very unique. Usually I spend 0 on car or like much lower amount than this. But of course, this annual expense of the highway toll this time around fell in. Then bus taxi fare, I am aiming to spend 25 euros this month. Even though I was traveling, I spent 27 euros. And the reason for that is, of course, the 2 tickets to go to the airport, that is almost 10 euros. Well, 9 euros back and forth. And then, of course, like it was January, so I was not using my bike to go to places, but I was using public transport to go to places. So that's why it's a bit higher. But as long as it's lower than the amount of days in the month, so in January, of course, it's 31. As long as it's lower, then it's still worth it for me, or it's still better for me to purchase tickets always on the go rather than getting the annual ticket. Then clothing, on clothing and spend a little bit higher amount, 117.10 euros. As I was traveling, I did purchase a few items, actually, dresses, mostly summer dresses and stuff like that. So that's why the spending there. But of course, you know that I have collected a lot of, last month I did a no spend year, so I didn't buy any clothing, and I have a lot of money saved for this category. So 117 euros is actually a very low amount. Then medical, the 33.7 was my therapy session. Self-care, I spend a little bit more than 35 euros. This is always my budget category where I'm struggling to keep within the budget. But the reason why I spent so much this month was because I really finished a lot of my products somehow in December and January. So like my skincare products and hygiene products. So I had to just kind of replace them. And I did a lot of the replacing in Malaysia because they have more Korean products available. So I was kind of buying a lot of products there. I mean, not so many, but just replacements, basically. Almost nothing new. Maybe a few things which I don't usually buy, but I have used before or I wanted to try. But yeah, mostly replacements. And then furniture, of course, I didn't buy. Supplies and maintenance, that's basically doing my laundry. And I'm not sure anymore what else I did buy in this category, what I had to spend in this category. But yeah, definitely lower than the budgeted amount, so that's good. Investment, as I mentioned, I didn't invest 300, I only invested the usual 100 this month. Sport, I went skating once and I went swimming twice, so that was 24 euros and 90 cents. It is way below the budgeted amount because the budgeted amount takes into consideration that I was supposed to do the My Club subscription, which is around 50 euros per month. And then business expenses, I calculated 200 euros per month for business expenses. And last month my expenses were 43 euros and 67 cents, which was a hard drive that you can see here. Because my other hard drive got full with all the videos that I'm making. So now I want to kind of reorganize my hard drives and put all my YouTube related stuff on this new one and keep my other work related stuff on my old hard drive, which is basically the same hard drive, just a different color. And I also want to put all my photos on this one. And then travel expenses. I am not going to talk about travel expenses. I don't feel comfortable sharing that amount on social media, so I'm not going to talk about it. But basically, as I said, like my travel budget will depend on how much I earn every month. In December was a strong earning month, so what my income is in December, that's what I'm calculating with in January as my budget. And of course, in January, I was able to allocate quite a lot of money to my travel budget just because my income was higher in the previous month. And of course, I was traveling, so I needed it. And the same goes with the security fund. I'm not gonna tell you exactly how much I put every month in the security funds. This month I can tell you, or in January I can tell you, because I was putting as much as possible in the travel fund and some other categories coming later. In my sinking funds, I didn't put anything in my security fund in January. And then the blow money category is the category what I can spend on anything what I want to. So this month in January I bought 2 books. Maybe I should show you the 2 books that I bought. One of them is here because I'm just reading it. I have talked about this book already in the past few months multiple times. The Panic Years from Nell Fritzell. Yeah, everyone should read this book. Everyone who ever thought about having a kid, or everyone who doesn't know if they want to have a kid, or every women and men who ever was thinking of having a child must read this book. Yeah, and especially men, just to learn a little bit about the female bodies, the female thinking process, all the concerns that we have when it comes to childbirth, but in general about inequality between men and women, and what things we are struggling with as a woman, which a man will never have to think about. Read this book. And the other book that I bought this month was Yung Pueblo's Inward, which is his second book, I believe. It's like little quotes and little poems, basically. And I have read his first book in 2021, and I actually do want to buy his first book, and also he has a new one, so he has 3 now. So his other 2 books, and I almost did, but I was like, okay, but then I would blow my 50 euros blow money if I bought all the books at once. And I was like, well, I cannot finish all these books at once anyway within 1 month, so I'm just gonna buy it in the next month. And at the end, I didn't end up spending any more of the blow money on anything else. So that's why now I have a little bit of over 24 euros to roll over to the next month, and I can submit a new book order. The new books were also part of my no-buy, so I was not allowed to buy new books. And then in January I went to the bookstore and I was like, I want all the books. I spent like 2 hours just looking at all the books. I was taking photos of books that were interesting, and maybe later I can purchase them and all that. So that was a lot of fun. And the final thing is the sinking funds. So yeah, because my income in December was quite good, I could allocate quite a lot in my sinking fund. So in January I allocated 1,100 euros into my MacBook sinking fund. So now I am ready to buy my MacBook, which I'm going to do either in February or latest in March. This is a business expense. I need the MacBook for work, and because my current computer sometimes just doesn't work, and like that's a bit stressful. I allocated another 150 euros in the budget for roller skates, so now I have over 500 euros available for that. Comes spring, I really should look into buying those roller skates. I allocated another 160 into the Vitamix category, and I should look into actually how much does a Vitamix cost and which version I want to buy, because they have so many different versions, and I'm like, which one should I get? And then I allocated some money into the Christmas category, which was over 200 euros that I allocated, but last year I went over budget, so actually some of this money that I allocated actually had to cover the minus that I had last year, so now I have 160 euros in this category. And for February, because my income in January was way lower, my income actually was lower than this amount, which is the amount that I'm aiming for to have as a minimum income every month. For this reason, I'm not putting any money in February into the sinking funds. And I am not putting any money into the security fund. I'm not putting any money into the travel category. I'm only allocating these other categories, which are kind of fixed. I mean, obviously the fixed costs are really fixed, and then the variable ones I could actually not allocate into some of these categories. But the way I do it is that I take out the difference of my income and this total cost. I take it out from my security fund to cover this, and then next month hopefully my earnings will be higher, and then I will be able to allocate some money back to the security fund. So this is how I do my budget. And every other category, my budget stays the same except for health insurance, because I got my first bill for my health insurance for 2023, which is for the first quarter, and they actually raised the price. So now instead of 141 per month, I have to pay 145.4. So I have to change that, 145.4. So that went up. And did I have to adjust any of the other ones? I might have to adjust the business one. I have to maybe raise it, because February my business spending was, I already know, was very high, because I had to pay for accounting, I had to pay some taxes, which is an expense that I have to do only once per year. I will think about either raising it or just holding on to it and see, how it unfolds throughout the year, or at least in the first 6 months. And every other category seems to be working very well so far. So yeah, we'll see in January, in February, at the end of February. But I don't think I have to adjust anything as of yet. So everything else stays the same for February. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about is just, because I am all for essentialism and having all only the things that you use or that you cherish and you like and that brings you joy, as Marie Kondo would say. I started to list what are the things that I get, like what I bring into my life, what I either receive as a present or I get for free, or what I buy, and then the things that I declutter from my life, that I kind of say goodbye to. So this month my in and out was a little bit uneven, because I had way more coming in than going out, and it's just because I was traveling, I was shopping around in Malaysia, I went to different places where I wanted to buy different things, and of course when you're traveling it's kind of a little bit different mindset, and you're like, oh, let me buy this, I can buy this in Europe, and all these things. But I also kind of want to follow and be able to see, with my skincare and hygiene, what are the things that I have to replace, like when I have to replace them, right? Like how long can I use a product? So For example, I ran out of my rosehip oil this month, which I buy in this like big 100 milliliter glass thing, and then I just put it in smaller jars usually and take it with me whenever I travel, and I use it almost every day. So I ran out of it, and now I just want to see like how often do I have to repurchase this. I didn't repurchase it yet because, well, I didn't fully run out of it. Now it's like just in the smaller jar, so I didn't have to repurchase it yet, but I just want to know, I ran out of it in January or February, whatever, and then what is the next time I have to buy it. So that's why I want to follow it. I ran out of my contact lens cleanser this month. So like, how often do I have to buy it? Is it like once a year, or once every 6 months, once every month, once every 3 months? So for different products I want to see that. So that's why I'm going to list like what I kind of ran out of, but also like what I got rid of, as in decluttered in the month. So the contact lens cleanser, the rosehip oil, then I also, my intimate hygiene cleaner ran out this month, my Misha serum, which is my favorite thing, and I thought that I can replace it in Malaysia, but they actually don't carry it there. They don't have Misha in Malaysia, so I will have to order it from somewhere else. Yeah, and then I ran out of my BB cream, but I was using this like a small sample sized Misha BB cream, and then I have another one, so I started to use the other one. This is like 10 milliliters, so I was using this since the summer. Yeah, that's it, I think, or that's what I listed at least. And then I got rid of my old calendar, of course, because it's from 2022. So I'm getting rid of my old calendar. I'm getting rid of a strainer because I got a new strainer. I am getting rid of alcohol hand cleansing gel because it's always leaking and it's just not safe to use. So I bought a new one. And then what moved in with me, of course, were the 2 books that I bought. I bought some new clothes, like 1 leggings, 3 dresses, a jumpsuit. I got a bra, 6 panties. They were very cheap in Malaysia. I got a pair of socks in Spar and a pair of gloves, also in Spar. I got a silicone oven mat, also in Spar. The one that you can use when you are baking instead of a paper baking sheet. I got a new travel neck pillow, so I got rid of my old travel neck pillow, which was one that you have to blow up, while the new one is a sturdier one, much more comfortable. I got a new sunscreen for my face in Malaysia, even though I didn't run out of my sunscreen. I got quite a few sheet masks in Malaysia from Korean stores, Korean cosmetics. I got this hard drive. I got, as a present, a microphone to be able to do my voiceovers, like with a better sound quality. I got a new mouse, which is for my future MacBook, which I also got as a present. I also got a USB converter for the MacBook. That it was also a present. I don't have a MacBook yet, but I already have the USB converter for it. I also got a USB separator for this computer because I was always struggling with just having 2 USB holes. Like, okay, one is for the mouse, the other one is for another thing, and then, okay, but I need to plug the hard drive, or I want to plug my whatever. So yeah, now I can separate them. I got some bowls in Malaysia, a set of smaller ones and 1 bigger one. They only had 1 bigger one, which is more for like soups or maybe salads, while the smaller ones are maybe for desserts or little things. But every time I go to Malaysia, I buy bowls because they are so cheap. Like this set of 5, 1 bigger one, 4 smaller ones, was less than €5. It was a clearance, to be fair. I got tea tree oil. Yeah, I also ran out of the tea tree oil this month. So I got new one. I got some acne patches because I have shitty skin. I also got some cream for when I have acne. I got hyaluronic acid serum, and I got kind of like a Foreo cheap dupe for the Foreo, so I'm using it to cleanse my face and I'm trying it out. It was very cheap. It was less than 10 euros. So I figured, well, compared to a Foreo, I can give it a try. I got a set of solid shampoo, body wash and cleanser for traveling because it came with a travel case in which you can put all three in. So yeah, that was very useful for my travels as well. And I think that's it. I might have missed something because I really bought a lot of things in January. But it's just because because I was traveling and somehow I ran out of all these things around the same time, and so I had to replace things, but it's kind of unusual. But it's also because I just finished my no-buy year, so there were a lot of things on my list that I wanted to get. And so some of it I already did. All right, so that was a long video. I hope you are still here and you didn't, die out of boredom. Probably you just fell asleep or something. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video interesting. Let me know in the comments down below if any of these were not interesting and maybe I should skip next time, or if there's anything else I should add next time, or if I should elaborate more on the products that I got, maybe show you what I got. I figured I'm not gonna show you this time because it takes quite a lot of time to also just to collect everything, and yeah. Or if you want me to talk about the books that I read a little bit more in detail, or yeah, just let me know in the comments how you like this video and what you liked about it, what you didn't enjoy that much. And I am hoping that you will subscribe to my channel and that I will see you at my next video. Until then, goodbye.